Now that I got the ceiling down, what's the next step? Well, I've got that trim that goes all the way across. I'm going to have to take that down now. You remember that was there to hold the height of the T-bar ceiling. Okay, so before you start banging on that, remember you got stuff in these cabinets, and look and see if you got any face screws. In fact, I think there might be one right there underneath that putty. I'll have to dig that out, and there's another one over here on the other side. I think that's one right there. Okay, and I'm not sure if I have to pull this top trim off or not. Well, I'm going to kind of check that out before I just start banging it, because I've got to remember the cabinet underneath that's going to be exposed. That it's going to be below the new ceiling height. So I got to be real careful when I pry this off. Okay, just remember when to pry, when not to pry, what's going to be existing, what's going to be hidden. It's our next step to remove that face trim. Now here's all those pieces I just took off the cabinet. I was really careful with that. It came out pretty good. Now before you start just cutting this up, throwing it away or something, think about your project. Think, is there anything you need from these parts that might come in handy? If you're not quite sure, save these, put them off to the side, stack them in your garage, storage shed, whatever. And it might be of some use for you. Specifically, what if you wanted to purchase some sort of shelf, or you need to put some additional trim up on your cabinets and you can't seem to find out what the stain color is? Well, you could take one of these pieces, that little piece right there, you could take that to the paint store. You could have them match up the stain. You want the very same thing. You're not quite sure if that's oak, cherry, maple, alder, birch, but you take it to the paint store and son of a gun, they'll be able to tell you what kind of wood that is and what kind of stain is going to stain up and match your existing, and they may have to play around with it and match it up and get you an exact match. Okay, so before you do anything, think about it. Let's go a little further now and just talk very briefly about your scribe molding, your trim. Remember these little thin pieces right here? This little piece, see? Where it stops, it stopped right at the bottom of the T-bar. And now we're going to leave that ceiling. That has to go all the way up. And it's that way on all the little pieces of trim. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy some new oak, and you're going to match it up as best you can. You're going to stain it, and all the stain may not be 100% perfect, and you think it's close enough. You put it up there and you think, oh, there's a little patch, there's a little patch over here, there's a little patch over there. I can see every single patch. I don't know what else I could have done. Well, here's one thing you could have done. You could take some of this scribe molding off in some strategic areas, like let's say right here in the corner cabinet. Let's say this piece right here. Okay, you could remove this piece, and then you could use this piece, cut little pieces, and patch up in the visible areas up around your kitchen window, at the front of your kitchen, to your dinette area. You can do that. Okay, and then you can get some new trim. You see this piece? Do you really want to patch that piece way up high there and see it? Now see where that trim was? It's discolored just a little bit. The cabinet, somebody's going to have to go up there and restain that or something. See, over time, now see, that was the color of the cabinets initially, and over time what happens is lacquer has a tendency to slightly yellow. If you get any sun on the cabinets, you're going to have anything slightly yellow, and that's what's happened over time. You see that? And even where the T-bar ceiling used to attach in, you can't really see it as much up there, but it's there. You see over there the two different colors? You may have to address that. See, there's a line going across there, lighter up at the top. There's a little edge along there. I may have to point that out to my aunt, she may have to have the painter put some stain up there or something and try to blend that in and put some varathane lacquer over that, or something. You know, these are the types of things that you want to look at when you're tying things in, because the last thing you want is, if you're going to leave all that stuff, you don't want it to look mismatched and it just patched willy-nilly, whatever. Okay, so you can take off a couple of pieces of that scribe, you can trim that up, you can get 2 new pieces of scribe. Let's say just around the window. Okay, these 2 pieces, you want to take those 2 pieces off and this piece over here. Okay, now you got 3 pieces of scribe, or maybe you only need 2 pieces of scribe total. Measure it all up and you decide, hey, let's just take the 2 pieces around the window. Okay, that piece over there up against the wall and this piece up against the wall. You can use those, and your new scribe can go right here. You can stain it, match it as best you can. You can put that up. If it's slightly off, it's not going to look as noticeable because it's going to be a full-length piece, the same color. It's going to be the same color over on this side too, going all the way up. Okay, those are the types of things that you want to keep in mind if you're going to do any sort of remodeling, patching, whatever. Okay.